Hello again, this is Krish, and today I am taking us through the clinician's pathway using DIGAMS to appreciate how a clinician, especially in an underserved community with a small health facility, could leverage DIGAMS to access advanced diagnostic services offered by other health facilities, or to offer the same, or to offer the services that may have, diagnostic services that they may have, to nearby health facilities. Yeah, so our clinician is highly consequential in the healthcare system, and so in our system they have access to much of the functionalities available as a clinician. And so let's go into it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so to start you off, a clinician, of course, you have to have been registered as a clinician when the administrator was signing you up. And then you can now log in. When you log in as a clinician with the credentials that you could have created yourself, then you get to access the following functionalities. So first you can, of course, find a lab near you or a facility that has a lab near you for services, for diagnostic services that you may need. You can add patient details. I think you've seen that in the previous videos that we've looked at. There is most of all the videos actually the users don't have access to such features. They can't add patient details, they can't add tests, they can't send samples. Well, they were there, but they were actually inactive for those who could see them because they are preserved for technical staff like technicians, rather like clinicians. Yeah. So of course you also get to see what is really there for you as a clinician or as any other user that is trying to improve the diagnostic capacity of the small health facility that you work with. To start you off today, we're going to try to add patient details. So you, in that form, you have to add the outpatient number. We anticipate that most small health facilities really don't have inpatient departments, but there is a possibility that you could also have one. And then in that case, you could also add the inpatient number. You could add the patient number as well, the lab number, and then the patient details, including basic demographics that are needed usually to categorize a patient. Yeah, so you add all these, and then you add a brief description of the sample that you're collecting from the patient, the sample that you're trying to send out there. You could describe anything really here. You could even add how this case is presenting to you in the facility. So after you've entered the sample details, you can get back to the home page, and now you can see that the patient we've added, Mary Jane, is right there, and so you can access those patient details in the add tests functionality, but also in the send samples functionality. So as we're trying to add a test for this particular patient, this could be one that we're going to run ourselves internally. So maybe the test that you're trying to do is a urine test. So you're collecting a urine sample and you're collecting it on 27th. Maybe it's also being delivered on 27th. Since it's the same facility, really there may not be changes in the time that the sample has been picked and delivered. You can also add additional samples that you're picking from this very patient. You add the details, and then when you save all that, then you can be able to perform additional tasks on that particular sample of the patient. So maybe here now we're picking a stool sample. Yeah. So when you save that, you can go back to the home page, and you can also choose maybe some of the samples you need. Maybe some of the services you need, the diagnostic services, are not available at your facility. So now you select to send some of these or part of the samples you've selected out there to other laboratories. So maybe you select part of the urine sample, and you maybe also part of the stool sample. You select the date that you've collected them, you add a brief description of the sample, of course a technical description of the sample. This is for demonstration purposes, and then you save that. So when you save those details, uh, you can now proceed and create an order for that particular test or for that particular sample. So you can select among the labs available. If you didn't select from the search functionality previously, you can select from here, select the various tests that you want to be performed on that particular sample, and then you submit your order. You can also add another order if you wish. Maybe part of the tests that you want to be performed on these samples all can't be performed at one particular facility, so you can select another facility that may have more advanced diagnostic services, and then you also get to submit that particular order. So now you've made two orders to two different laboratories. Actually, I think I'm making a third one. Let's try to make a third one to another laboratory. Yeah. So once you've had these orders created, you can go back to the patient. Maybe if there is anything else you may need to do, you can also do that. But when you go back to your home page, you can again access all the various features available. Now we have this view order feature. This view order feature is intended for internally directed orders. I mean, orders that are either sent to your lab from other labs, or orders that are made from your lab or from your facility to be run at the same facility. So as you can see here, there is a sample that we selected to be run at that very facility, and here we are updating the results. We've accepted the sample, and then we are adding the result values where applicable, as appropriate as possible. Of course, some sample results are statistical, others are descriptive. So, but when you add all those sample details, all the result values, you describe the interpretation that maybe this means this and that. So for this particular case, it was whether there is the Escherichia coli enteropathogenic gene, and maybe positivity of that means that there is resistance in this particular sample. Yeah. So away from that, we also have we can always check the progress of the samples that we sent out there, and this is how you do that. You can search digams.com/creator. You run that link, and then with that you're able to see the progress of the various samples that you've sent to other labs. For instance, as we've run it here, you can see that we have in total sent out 6 samples to various laboratories, and all these samples at various stages of either acceptance or being run, all anticipating results at the end. We see that most of them have been at least accepted. So what you can do with these samples here, you can, rather with this functionality, you can search with a patient ID or a lab ID, or you can filter out those that are completed, those that are accepted, those that are pending. You can do all this, and then at the end of the day, you're able to really know that this is the progress of the tests that I've sent out. Yeah, so this is an automatic system whereby if you perform, even for your particular case, for tests that you've received, if you perform any actions on them, the lab that has sent them or the facility that has sent those tests to you is going to receive the progress, is going to be able to check the progress that you're making with the various tests sent to your lab. Thank you so much.